Good evening and welcome to the first annual Town Hall Meeting. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all the taxing bodies who are here with us tonight. I hope that you had a moment to visit them and meet and greet with them. At this time, it gives me great opportunity to introduce Mayor Kathleen Weaver, who is going to begin the program.
I can't thank Claire enough for taking on this initiative as well as she has, and with such great energy to help us in this program. All of us couldn't have done this without the help of a lot of people, and there's a lot of people in this room that I'd like to thank tonight. But first, I think we should start our meeting off the right way with Nick Darien, the Senior Vice Commander of the VFW, with the Pledge of Allegiance.
If you would all rise, right hand on your heart. And those of you who have been in the military, please join me in the hand salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this microphone seems to be pretty sensitive, so I'll try to keep it away from my face a little bit. We have handouts of the slide presentation if anyone can't see the slides up here, but I'd like to begin again by thanking all of the taxing bodies that are here this evening making presentations. We started the Darien Initiatives program, I'm pretty sure it was 2005. We've had such fun since, I can't remember exactly. But we've grown with this, and we came to this final location here, all of us together, joining together to show everyone in Darien who we are, what we do. And I couldn't be happier with all of these participants here this evening. In the past, I had the State of City presentation routinely at the Chamber of Commerce luncheon, and it was a small audience. It was mostly businesses. The citizenry was welcome to come, but it was a lunchtime thing. So we decided that a town hall meeting where we had something, a State of the City presentation in the evening, would be an opportunity for more residents to be able to participate. And so this is our first ever town hall, and I am so pleased that all of you decided to come out this evening and be here. We couldn't do it without you being here to make this, to hear all of our stories. And I hope that this is going to be only the first of many town hall meetings for the city of Darien. We have some beautiful pictures, sceneries in the city of Darien that I'm sure all of you are familiar with. Let's move on to the next slide. And the next slide is kind of fun facts about the city of Darien. Maybe things you didn't know about us. Darien was founded in 1969. Our birthday is actually December 13th. We became a city. And wish Sam Kelly was here because he would just enthrall you with the stories of what the city of Darien, the birth of the city of Darien, how it came about. But we've grown to 22,086 residents, and we have 9,275 housing units and 393 businesses. And we care for and patrol 68 miles of streets in our 9.5 square mile area of the city of Darien, and we have 72 full-time employees. This was an interesting fact, I think, for all of us. Our median income is $91,880, and over 81% of our homes are owned by the residents. So those are great facts to know about the city of Darien. we actually lost some population. We were at one point over 23,000, but I'm sure all of you have had the same experience as I had. My two boys moved out of my house, and I think a few of you probably had the same thing, so we lost 1,000 residents. I bet I know where. But our next slide is about what the city of Darien does very well, and it's the budget process. And our budget is our Bible. It tells you and all of the residents of Darien exactly what we're doing, how we're doing it, how we're going to pay for things. And let me even tell you even more about our budget process, because I think it's so terrific. And again, residents are always welcome to come to any of our budget meetings. Our budget process is started way back, probably November and December, by our staff members. Each department head has to develop his own budget. And then they present their budgets to our city administrator, Brian Vanna, and then he takes a pencil to those budgets, and then he and I meet in January and come up with the final document that's going to be presented to the city council for review. And we start meetings in February, and in past years we've gone through February and into March with our meetings. In the past couple of years, the meetings have been briefer because we haven't had a lot of items or money to talk about spending. But we start out with what we call a maintenance budget. And that budget, that portion of the budget, is what we do to provide all of the essential services for the city of Darien, what we do every year. Then we have something that goes along with our view of the maintenance budget, and it's called discretionary. Those discretionary items are items that we spent money on in the current year, but we might not want to do in the next year. So we revisit those items over and over again. What are some of the items that we would call discretionary? Well, we do a wellness fair every year. We do a trolley for the Halloween, the Lions Club Halloween event. We do the home decorating contest. We do the trolley for the home decorating contest. Those would be the types of discretionary items that I'm talking about. And we revisit those every year to decide, do we want to do them again? Can we afford to do those items again? The third part of our budget process is what we call the expansion budget. This is, in some people's minds, you could call it the wish list, our staff's wish list. It's made up of items that staff would like to add to our city, trucks, vehicles, employees, and all of those items, after we review the maintenance and discretionary budget, then we tackle the expansion budget and decide if there's any programs that we can add into our budget for the year that we're looking at. So that's how much scrutiny we do to our budgets, and we televise these meetings also. So you are welcome to stay at home, or you come right to our meetings. And you can even go online to our website at any time to see our budget and how we spend our money. We feel we are very good stewards of your tax dollars. Some of the popular programs that we have that we have been doing on a routine basis are up here. Our neighborhood reinvestment projects, and those would be what we fondly call the ditch program, where we're texturing ditches within the city. We have storm drainage issues that affect some of our residents. We've done those all over the city. It's not just one area that we do that in. Our free curbside brush pickup every year, planting and trimming our parkway trees, that falls under the discretionary category too, where can we afford to do tree trimming for this year? And we look at that as part of our analysis of our budget. I bet you love our new entranceway signs. Have you seen them? Okay, the entranceway signs have been on the City Council's expansion list for a long time. I think we looked at entrance signs starting in 2002. And it was just one of those items on our expansion list that just didn't rise to the level where we felt we could afford it. Well, this year, with the help of staff designing our signs and finding ways to make them as cost-effective as we could, we've added a number of those entranceway signs, and I think they've been a great hit. Our outstanding snow removal program, that's definitely a maintenance issue, part of the maintenance budget. That's never going to go away, and I think we do one heck of a job on snow removal in the city of Darien. I've had people who tell me that they drive through Darien, going to wherever they are, and just rave about, boy, I just left such and such town, and I couldn't even get through it, and I got to your town, and my gosh, your streets are clear. So I know we do an excellent job on that. And our emphasis on keeping our crime rate low, one of the lowest in the counties. So those are some of the popular programs that we have. Moving on, where do we get our money? This slide will show you the pie of where our tax dollars come from. Many years ago, we made the decision to take the burden off the property tax. We just couldn't keep the community as a bedroom community. In order to take the emphasis and the burden off of our homeowners, we had to venture out and create other sources of revenue. And as you can see, the sales tax by far is our greatest revenue source. It has been flat for a couple of years, but we're already seeing a rise in that. That's followed by our utility tax. That's the tax on all the telecommunications equipment and your NICOR, ComEd, whatever. And you can see from there, then we go to the state income tax. We receive a portion of the state income tax from the state based upon a per capita basis, based upon our population is the amount of money we get from the state. But those are this is the funds that we use to run the operations of the city of Darien. And in the past few years, that amount of money there is over $12 million is what helps us run the city of Darien. Let's move on to a breakdown of our expenses. Now we do forecasting. We forecast 3 years out to help us take a look at our expenses and decide, to keep an eye on how we're going to continue to afford all of the services that we provide. You can see a breakdown of each one of our departments, our city council, our administration, our community development department, our police department, which is the largest and understandably the largest expenditure in the city of Darien, and followed by our Public Works Department. And as you can see, we forecasted, we're in the fiscal year 2014 right now. We do not run our budget on a calendar year, we're a fiscal year, and our fiscal year starts May 1 and goes to April 30th of the following year. So we are in the fiscal year 2013 right now, and you can see the numbers, what we're expecting and forecasting for the coming years. As you can see, our police is 67% of all of our expenses in the city of Darien. Let's move on to the next slide. And in January, we did a survey, a resident survey, and if you responded to it, thank you very much. We had 500 residents that responded to the survey to find out, what do you think of our services? What do you think of the job we're doing? And you can see the results. 85% of our residents their satisfaction level of quality of life in the city, our budget process, our resident communication, and the value for the taxes that are paid. 81% gave our street repair a grade of A or B, and 89% gave our snow removal a grade of A or B. Our brush pickup rated pretty high too. Can you see this? Okay. And 80% of our residents felt that they were safe in their homes here in the city of Darien. Communications. This is something we focus on constantly. How can we better communicate with our residents? We have all of these avenues to communicate with you. I know the Neighbors magazine has been a huge hit, and I know Darien's District 61 has joined the magazine now. Thank you very much. It gives our residents an opportunity to see what's going on in the city and news about everything that's going on in the city. The city website, if you haven't discovered it yet, take a look. It's a wonderful portal to many locations, and you can find our budget on there if you want if you're a number cruncher and want to see exactly what our budget looks like. You can within our budget, you can go to any line item and find out exactly what's in each one of those line items, so you know exactly what we're spending our money on, dollar for dollar. Direct Connect. How many are Direct Connect people already? Great. Okay, so all of those residents in the room that are not on Direct Connect, call City Hall, give us your email address, and get signed up for Direct Connect. Every Friday, we send out an email to those residents whose emails we have, so that they can find out what's going on in the city of Darien. It's also a way for all of these taxing bodies here to get the word out about what they're doing in Darien also. So it's a great tool, a great communication tool. So please join on if you haven't already. We are televised. All of our city council meetings are televised. We meet on the first and third Monday of every month. Unless we have a very short agenda, we are not going to have a meeting this first Monday in October. But we meet and are televised, and that program is shown on our cable channel continuously until the next city council meeting. So if you can't see it live on television, you can certainly watch the tape version of it at a future date when it's convenient for you. Oh, and just reminded, we have 1,200 email addresses, so if we have 22,000 residents, we need more of you to sign up for Direct Connect. So, let's move on to the other department in the city of Darien that is one of I consider crown jewels, because of our department head, Dan Gombeck, who Dan, I forgot how many years have you been with us? 10 years. Yes, his innovation has been wonderful. He's the individual that brought on our joint concrete program, where you as residents can sign up and get the same price that we get for our bids for the work on your private property, on your driveways, sidewalks in front of your home. I take that back. Sidewalks is our job. But if you want to replace your driveway, you can get the same price as we do on our bids. That program received the 2010 Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government Bright Ideas Innovation Award for that program. And not only have we added that program to the city of Darien, but we also have the tree trimming program. If you're not aware of that, we contract out to have the trees in the city of Darien's parkways trimmed every year, removed, trimmed, and you, the residents, can sign up and get the same price for trees on your private property. So that's another great program that we have. Also, we have really stepped up our backyard drainage assistance program. We routinely hear from residents about drainage issues on their private property, And what we do is when a resident lets us know that there's an issue on their private property, our staff goes out and investigates the problem, and we try to see how many homes are affected by the drainage issue. And then we group all of those people together in order to get a better price for the work that we're going to do. And we do the work in-house. We put up the first $5,000 for the program, and then the residents who are affected by the drainage issue, they share the cost. So that is a wonderful program. If you are interested in finding out more about it, please contact our staff. We also have done, since I became mayor, I made it a priority. We have older neighborhoods in the city of Darien who did not have sidewalks and sewer systems in them, and even neighborhoods like in Hinsbrook that do have those kind of systems had drainage issues. So we've taken it upon ourselves, and our Public Works Department has identified numerous projects within the city, and each year during our budget process, we go through that list of those projects, and the staff prioritizes those that they feel should be done the soonest. And along with that, we have encouraged the county to get on board with this in creating the drainage basins that have allowed us to bring the water to them to alleviate flooding issues in some of our neighborhoods. So that has been a really important program that I'm very, very happy that we decided to take on. You can see what we do in the Public Works Department. Oh, by the way, we changed our name. It's called Municipal Services. A number of years ago, we combined our Community Development Department and the Public Works Department, and we call it the Municipal Services Department now. They're the ones that take care of the water main repairs, brush pickup, snow removal, and we all are well acquainted with the storm damage that happened this past season, and in the great job that our Public Works, our Municipal Services Department did on those projects. I mentioned some of these projects that we do. We're in charge of the street repairs. Mind you, Cass Avenue, 75th Street, Plainfield Road belong to the county, so we don't have, we are not in charge of taking care of them. We just have to remind the county to take care of them on occasion. But we do, as I said before, we do numerous stormwater projects within the city. Our concrete program, we do along with our street repairs. Our street signs, that's been a big hit when we finally got rid of the monument signs and went to these highly visible street signs. I think we're all happy with that change in the city of Darien. And then of course our welcome signs, those are new additions. Do we have all locations done for the? Yes. All locations are done, so all the places that you see are welcome to Darien signs is all of the locations we're going to do. The next jewel in our city of Darien is our police department. For years, our city council and our police committee asked questions. How many police officers do we need in the city of Darien? What's the busiest time for our police department? What kind of crimes do we have in the city of Darien? Could we have a crime map? Chief Brown arrived in November of 2011, and all of those questions have been answered. He immediately went to work compiling data that he gathered from our DUCOM 911 center. They keep records of everything, so he immediately went to work and did a workload analysis. And this provides us with the history of calls for our police officers and the work an officer is doing when he's not responding to a service call. It also gives us the ability to know how many officers we need. And it's allowed because of this analysis, the chief has discovered when our busiest times are, and because of that, he has added a power shift, so we have even more officers on the street when the activities on the street are the heaviest. So all of this, just from collecting this data, has been wonderful, and you can see that from what he's done, we are even more involved in community engagement than we've ever been before, reaching out to organizations in the city, making presentations. With the DARE program, we took a step with that program. There's years of research after the DARE program has been out for so many years, has been in schools for so many years. The research showed that it wasn't as effective as it could be because it only contacted a small group. I believe it was fourth and fifth graders. And we needed a program that went from the youngest child all the way through high school to make them aware of what drugs can do to their bodies, and also to bring more of our police officers into engagement with the children in our community. And we are achieving that. This is the kickoff year that we started this program, and we've been working quite well and with the schools to get this program moving forward. And I'm very excited about it that we're going to do a better job of reaching out to our youth and making them aware. You read it in the paper all the time about the heroin issue in DuPage County, the epidemic that it is. And so we need to use every avenue that we can to address these issues with our children. Besides those items, the chief has brought on some other items that have been going very well. If you haven't met Officer Renner and Officer Liska, hopefully you'll be meeting them very soon. They've taken up the program of elder services, and I believe they've already done 2 programs to 2 seniors groups already, and they're bringing forward all of the programs that are available for seniors in DuPage County, and offering to, and we're also making a catalog of all of our seniors so that we can stay on top of their needs and make sure that they're being taken care of in their homes. So if you are interested in hearing from the officers on the elder services, please feel free to contact Brian or the chief. One of you would be the contact persons to make sure we get the word out. Domestic violence. The chief received an award in the city of Chicago from Anita Alvarez for his work in trying to combat domestic violence. 13% of the calls in the city of Darien are about domestic violence. So it's a big issue. And what it does by monitoring these calls, it helps us to identify patterns of reoccurring incidents and hopefully take action to eliminate these problems within our city. Also, because of Chief Brown's experience and knowledge and context, we have sent one of our police officers to be on a task force, a federal task force, which gets involved in drug seizures, other types of seizures, whatever the case may be. And this officer is getting experience that he would never get by just driving in a police car in the city of Darien. So his experience is invaluable. He's already shared with the chief what an opportunity this is for him. So we are, and the benefit of doing something like this is, if there are seizures, the city of Darien would be able to recoup some of this seizure funds. So it's definitely a win-win for our police officer and for the city of Darien. Also, community engagement, as I mentioned with the DARE program. We have 12 officers now involved with our children, not just one officer. It's important to have the face of our police officers with our children all the time. And so this community engagement program is very, very important. If any of you are in organizations where you would like to have the chief come and speak, or even the officers Renner and Liska on the elder services programs that we have, please contact us. I would be glad to come too, but I think those guys are more important than I am to hear what they have to offer. But we are always welcome to come out and meet with any group to explain what we do. As I said before, we use the crime data that the chief we continue to get from our DUCOM to help us focus our officers on responding to things in the city when they're not responding to a 911 call. The days of giving a police officer the cars to the key and saying, "See you in 8 hours" is over. It's simply over. Our police command staff, our sergeants, have been empowered with a great deal of authority to take a look at the statistics that we are garnering from the DUCOM and seeing if there's patterns in the city that we need to address. And then they can direct the police officers that are on the street into doing practices that might help stop these crimes from happening. I'm sure some of you have noticed last year we had a great deal of attention by our police department given to our Darien Community Park. And the situation there was large groups of teens would hang out at the park, kind of intimidating the younger children. And so the chief said, you know, if this happens every year, we know we can do something about it. So I'm happy to say that we see our children and parents there on a routine basis, and the park is there for our citizens to enjoy. Also, the chief made the list of the top 10 people we don't want to see in Darien. And our police officer, I'm talking about bad guys, okay? I'm talking about bad guys. And all of our police officers know who they are. And so whenever our police officers see any of them coming into town, they make sure they let them know that they better leave. They are not welcome in Darien. So these strategies that the chief and the sergeants are developing have been really welcome, and the criminals are not welcome. Also, the police staff has met with the multi-unit building property managers to help them screen who they're renting units to better, to make sure we don't get unsavory characters renting in the city of Darien. So that's another initiative that our police department has started, and it's very welcome. The strategies that our police officers are putting into place are to stop the types of crime that are happening in Darien, burglaries to cars, making it less desirable for these kinds of individuals to come to Darien to do this kind of devious acts. In order to take the burden off of the property tax, we had to develop businesses, a vibrant business community in the city of Darien. And as you saw, well, in the next slide I'm going to show you, you'll be able to see just how much the impact has been on the city of Darien. Chuck's, I just heard from Chuck's, from someone who just was at Chuck's. The place is always crowded. That was a creative way we worked with Chuck's to bring them into the city of Darien. They knew that the cost to develop that property was a great deal of money, and so we worked with them to provide improving the parking lot and the lighting in their parking lot, and they're going to pay us back with increased revenues that are generated by this business. Also, we responded to Home Depot. There was businesses, there was communities around us that wanted to take Home Depot away from us, and we worked with Home Depot or the property owners, the property managers there, to come up with a way to facilitate them staying in the city of Darien, and that's working very well. You've seen the efforts at the Walmart now. They're finally up and building that super Walmart. We worked with the property managers and Walmart to come up with a way to share taxes with them on the new portion of their development. If they had left the city of Darien, it would have been an $800,000 hole in our budget. That's how much revenue comes from Walmart today. So it would have been a big chunk. And the bad part is, Walmart would have walked away and moved to a community very close by. And they would have left that space vacant. They wouldn't rent it to anybody else. So we would have been at a tremendous loss had we not worked out a program where we are tax sharing with them only on the portion of the property that is the new portion of the property. The same structure that's there today, we keep all of that $800,000. So those are some of the things that we've done. We have businesses routinely tell us how easy it is to work with the city of Darien. I think, was it Jeff Howard was the manager. He's the big box manager for Inland. Raves about how wonderful it is to work with the city of Darien, how quickly we work with businesses to bring them in. Oak Ridge Hobby is another example of a way we worked with them to speed up the process to get them approved. Ross Dress for Less is another one. That came forward to us, and they needed a very large sign, and we worked that out with them and you can see that sign as you drive down 75th Street. As I said before, we have very close relationships with all the property managers in the city of Darien. We stay on top of their needs, and we try to help them rent out their vacant spaces. Some of the key, I don't know if you've seen White & Company. They decided to make Darien their home. They have that wonderful facility up on Lamont and I-55. And right next to them, they built that beautiful facility for the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. So those state-of-the-art buildings, way ahead in architecture and providing for green buildings. They were wonderful to have in the city of Darien. Our next slide is about, and I just mentioned it before, about our sales tax, and all of this is impacted by what we do to bring businesses into the city of Darien. As I said before, we have 393 businesses, but we have room to grow. There's no doubt about that. You can see where we started in 2006. Then we went through a period where we flattened out a little bit. But already we're already seeing the numbers come back. The past couple months, we've seen a rise in our sales tax. So that's an indicator to all of us that the economy is turning around. Some of the items, the tax categories in general merchandise. How many tax dollars do we have there? $944,000. Food is generating $674,000 in revenue to the city. Drinking and eating places, $772,000. Apparel, $41,000. On and on to the point of almost $4,900,000. So these are all the different types of sales tax that we bring to the city, and it definitely has allowed us to take the burden off the property tax. Our property tax has stayed level are gone down over the years. If you take a look at our item on your tax bill, you'll notice that the tax rate has stayed the same for a number of years or gone down. So with that, that is the presentation that I was going to do via the slides. And now I'd like to, we had some residents call in some questions, or write in some questions, and I wanted to address those. If I could first, before I open it to the floor, one resident wrote in, why aren't you addressing the West Nile issue? And we do. Clark Mosquito is our abatement company, and we do not do the overhead spraying anymore because it's research shows it's not effective in solving the problem. So what happens? Any areas that retain water, they put larvicide pellets in those to reduce, and they put traps out to know exactly what's going on in the city of Darien as far as mosquitoes are concerned. So we are not dealing with it. We are dealing with it, and we get reports on a routine basis from Clark Mosquito. Someone wrote in to remind people that going into someone else's mailbox and tossing mail on a parkway is a federal crime. So that's a reminder we can send out to everybody. A resident wrote in, are we ever going to put a stop sign at Plainfield and Bailey Road? And I'm sure you're familiar with that intersection. The residents that are affected by that are the ones that come off of Bailey Road trying to get onto Plainfield Road. And that is a roadway that's under the jurisdiction of DuPage County. So they're the ones that would be in charge of putting in any traffic devices. So we received a grant for the intersection, and we're awaiting DuPage County's review. And potential items possibly could be adding an additional turn lane there instead of a traffic signal or a traffic signal. So we're waiting for more information on that issue. There are some residents that were concerned about the traffic noise on I-55, and years ago we did a feasibility study on that issue, and we came up with a price tag of $5 million to put in sound walls on both sides of I-55 from Lamont Road down to our boundaries, eastern boundaries. The price tag was so hefty that it wasn't something we could afford to do. So what we do is we constantly put pressure on IDOT by reminding them that we're here, and anytime they send out fact sheets on a routine basis about events that they're holding, public meetings about any improvements on their system, and we constantly remind them, we're here, we need a sound wall along I-55. So we never take our eye off that ball. Another question, with Chase Bank being constructed on the corner of Cass and 75th, what will happen to the Chase Bank on 75th and 75th? I think we're talking about 75th and Lamont Road. We have an expert in the room, Alderman Schauer, but there is no information about the Chase pulling out of the 75th Lamont Street location because they're building at 75th and Cass. In fact, they just did some renovation over at that building, so I think they're there to stay. So that is something that Chase is going to. I think Chase is trying to become the next Walgreens. Have you noticed that? They're putting up banks everywhere, for heaven's sake. So, but at any rate, that's not going away. What's the status on the property of along 75th and Cass? The city just recently commissioned a study to investigate the feasibility of of demolishing the current buildings and constructing a new building, or remodeling that building that's currently there into a better facility. So we are still in that stage of investigating, getting more detail on the options that we have. And we'll be doing more of this research for the next 2 months. So stay tuned, watch our meetings. Hopefully we'll be having some more information on that development in the near future. A resident wrote in that many Darien residents flooded during the recent April storms and flooded in their homes. We've done a great deal of work in the city trying to abate flooding within all the communities in the city of Darien. But most of the issues that happened with the April storms was storm sewer related. I should say sanitary sewer related. Backups into the homes because the sewer systems were overwhelmed with the water that was going through them. And for that, those issues, we have to address those issues to the DuPage County and Downers Grove Township. And they have several programs that you can sign up for and find out information on, like overhead sewers, which would prevent this sanitary sewer waste coming back up into your house. And as I said, we've been very active for the past 7 years trying to alleviate flooding within our community. Next question, why did Darien approve the parking spaces at Walmart being made smaller than they currently are? The city code calls for 9-foot parking spaces throughout the city of Darien. For some reason, the parking spaces at Walmart were when it was first developed, were made at 10 feet. We are just making our code equal within all of our parking areas within the city. So that is the reason why you will be seeing that the 9-foot parking spaces in the Walmart area upcoming. Now I'd like to. Any other questions? Again, go back to that last slide. These are all the taxing bodies that were here today, and I want to thank them for making the efforts that they did to participate in this event. All of these participated today in our event, and I can't thank them all enough. Yes, okay.